Hey everybody, here's this week's course analysis. This is a USDAA course. It looks to be master's level, although I don't actually have those details, but it is full of really fun and challenging stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So you're starting here in this corner, and although right in your dog's field of vision there is a dog walk and an A-frame, they have to take this line, slicing 1 and slicing 2, so that they land facing 3. So you can handle this using a front cross or a blind cross. You can even do a German turn on the landing side of 2 if you want to. Any of those will work. The important thing is that you're able to get ahead for 3 to 4, because there is a lead change away from you going to this jump here, going to this double. So if we compare to the handler's line, the handler is likely going this way and continues to go this way. You have to, because you have to get around that wing. The dog is going to have to go a little bit like that in order to make this jump. So whenever there's a lead change away from you, even a small one, make sure that you have plenty of connection. Turn your chest laser towards that jump and know your individual dog. If your dog is very obstacle focused, it will be easier for them. If they're more handler focused, you'll have to work harder to help them make the lead change away from you and go to this jump here, and then keep strong connection to make sure that they can go to the weave pole. So say your weave pole verbal cue and watch them. You may have to move in a little bit too to support that, especially if your dog is smaller or is more handler focused. So be aware of that there. And now that they're in the weaves, you as the handler, again, can do what works best for you. Know your individual dog. You can go and just be moving in this direction as your dog is in the poles, and then when they come out, you can handle this line from 6 as a German turn. So when they come out of the weave poles, they're already on this path, so you don't have to do much to get them there except see them commit, turn your chest laser and eyes towards that landing, and then do the blind, and then they can go towards 7. So you can, and then you would see them land 7 there. So you could do that. You also, if you have to stay close to the poles, then the handler path could be, whoops, 1 second, wrong color. Handlers get blue. The handler path could go here and as a forced front cross. That will work just as well. So you can do either of those. Definitely you want the slice on 6 because the wrap is definitely not gonna be the fastest line. So if you were to wrap and then go that way, that does not make much sense. But for your dog to take this path, this is a very natural line here. And then 7 to 8, here we have our first challenge. So if your dog takes their natural jumping path, they're going to land facing the wrong end of the tunnel. And there's a good deal of space here, but if they're very obstacle focused and they see it, they will go there. So you have to do something so that they know that they now do need to make a lead change toward you and come in this way, and then lead change away from you to go to the tunnel. So a spin, as your dog is coming here committed to 7, the handler is somewhere in that neighborhood, committing them to the backside. You could reverse spin, and that will already help take their eyes off of the wrong end of the tunnel. And then once they land from 7, name call, and then opposite arm, tandem turn to go to 8. And as soon as they're committed to 8, you are then leaving so that they know that they are going to come out of the tunnel and be going this way already. And now you have a decision as to how you want to handle this next little section. So I'm going to show you what the dog's line is first before we talk about those handling options. So the dog should just stride out of the tunnel naturally. So we're not doing anything to try to tunnel break or anything like that, because we want them to take that big stride out so that they're going to be on the line to 9. And then the dog's line here, again, depending on which side you are on, will affect whether or not there is a lead change away from you. And then after they finish the teeter, 1 stride off the teeter will put them on the approach to 11, and then going to 12. And again, I think that this slice is the dog's natural line. Going to 12, as you can see, because they're going to land facing that jump. So that is the path that I recommend. Now, how you handle this, you can, once you commit your dog to the tunnel, if you are able to move to, and if you're able to work at a distance from your dog, then see them come out of the tunnel and keep the connection, but you could come down here, see the dog commit to 9 and then blind cross, and then and again connection on the landing so that you can be sure that they commit to going to the teeter, because again it does move away. The teeter itself is moving away from you, so those are those sometimes subtle challenges that judges will put in as you're heading more here to make sure that your dog commits to this one. So that's one option. If you're less fast, you can do the dreaded rear cross of the teeter, and this is a good time to train that skill as well if your dog doesn't have it to drive ahead of you and do the teeter. But if you are going to rear cross the teeter, do make sure that you cross well away from it, not close to it, so that you don't get hit by it. But that's a nice kind of training moment too. You also can just run to the end of the teeter if you know that you can really count on your dog's stop, and you can cross the end of the teeter if you want to as well. All of those are fine. If you are handling 11 from the landing side, German turn again. So when your dog strides off the teeter, they are already on the approach side. Their natural line will take them to the approach to 11, so they should go there quite easily. But keep the connection, make sure you see them commit, and then look at the landing. Sorry, not a German turn, it's running on the dog's line. So your dog will easily go here, so you'll just see the commitment, turn your chest laser and eyes to the landing, and then once your dog lands 11, again, connection, and see them commit to 12. Okay, so really see them there. It's not that, it's a non-wing, but it still is a tighter running on the dog's line, so that's a spot to make sure that you really see your dog commit to the correct side of you, and then you can send them to 12. You can also forced front cross to front cross on this line as well. Either of those will work nicely. If you run around the end of the teeter this way, you could opposite arm and commit them to that, or you could Japanese. Those are all handling options there for you. And then once you commit them to 12, know your dog. If they will jump quite wide, you might want to do a reverse spin there just to get them to adjust their line a little bit. If you're running a small dog, then you will not need that because they will land already on the correct path to the A-frame. So know your dog there, but whatever you're doing there, commit your dog to 12, and then you run in the other direction. So if you're able to do that, then you have more than one option here if you have a running A-frame. So if you have a stop, then it's quite easy. You can do it either way. So if your dog is taking this line and then they are stopping, then however you do it, you could do a blind or a rear cross at 14, either way. If your dog has a running and they're going to just continue on and take that line, then you need to plan where you're going to be in a little bit more detail. So if you can send your dog to 12 and be moving in the opposite direction as you keep the connection, then a blind cross is really easy and is a nice handling option. Just make sure again that you have really good connection as your dog is coming down the A-frame so that you can be sure they commit to 14 there for you. You also can rear cross. So if you cannot get there, then you just hang back a little bit, so that as your dog is exiting the A-frame, you let them go ahead of you and see them commit to 14 and then cross behind them. And then you want to just make sure that you keep your chest laser towards the landing as they're committed to 14. And then when you see them land 14, then you can change handling sides if you are doing the rear cross there. All right, then we keep the connection as the dog is going to 15 and let them take their natural jumping stride and make their correction stride there without doing anything. So no name calls or rear spins or anything like that. They should land on a fairly good line to the dog walk. If your dog jumps bigger, be aware of that. You may need to just make sure that you see them load safely, but this is a pretty nice line for them to the dog walk there. Here's the challenge coming off the dog walk. Now if your dog has a stop, then it is less challenging, but nevertheless they need to make this sharp turn off of the dog walk and go to the tunnel here. So if your dog has a running, that makes it a little bit harder, but what a good opportunity to train that. So if you can commit your dog to the tire and you can move down to the end here with independence, that's great. Just keep the connection and make sure you see that they're safely loading onto the dog walk. And then if you have a running, turn that front cross before they get to the as they're coming down the ramp here, so that they already know. And probably what they will do is come out, then make a correction stride, and then change their lead and be going to the tunnel. So really keep the connection there so that you can help them through that turn. It's a pretty sharp turn. If your dog has a stop, then this is this is a bit easier, but nevertheless you can push their stopping skills by doing that front cross there before they get into position, and that would be a really nice thing to work on, to make sure that they have the skill of being able to stop on their 2-on 2-off no matter what position you're in there. And it's good handling to do that anyway, so you're not wasting time. So as they come to the stop, you've already finished the front cross, and you are over here seeing them over your left shoulder so that you can commit them to go to the tunnel. So that's a really nice spot to work on there. And then as they are committed to going to the tunnel, then you want to be moving out of there, because it really is only a 15-foot tunnel. So see them commit to the tunnel and then go, so that you can be in position to handle this next line going to 18. So again here, this is going to be the natural line for the dog, 18 to 19. And when they are coming out of the tunnel, if you can be around here with connection and with an opposite arm, you can just do a small false turn there to get them to come into you, and then turn your chest laser back towards this jump, and they will make the lead change to go there. And then as they land 18, then you can handle them again from your left side. So that little just small false turn will work well. If you're really fast and you can beat them and blind cross the end of the tunnel, then you could see them over your right shoulder and do a Japanese maybe if you wanted to here. But I think that the false turn really works pretty nicely there to make sure that they're coming to you, and then turning away from you to go back to this non-wing 18 here. So it's a really good skill to work on there. And then after that one, when we are coming this way, and then they have to go here. A tandem turn is pretty nice, so you could stay, and that's how I handled it. You can stay on this side and then turn them away from you, and then you're done. If you are faster and you're able to cross their line, then you can change handling sides and just handle it dog on right. But I found that to be pretty tricky, because you have to really handle this part here, so that sort of holds you back a little bit. But if you find other handling options that work really well, definitely let me know. This was a really fun one. There were some challenges in here that really made you have to hold the connection strongly and know where lead changes away from you are occurring, know your dog's level of obstacle focus, and use all that knowledge to help you plan where you need to be. So a really fun one, and I hope you enjoyed running it as much as I did, and let me know how it went and what questions you have and what other handling options you came up with in the comments or in the Facebook group.